because immediately someone sees a wheelchair, um, all of a sudden all kinds of, skeptical dispositions, come into play. And I remember, for instance, I spent a lot of time in boarding school, so whenever I would go back home during holidays, for instance, all of a sudden, like, these kids I used to play with and stuff like that, so like their parents now are looking and be like, hey, his parents must have done something, which is a very, very weird thing to wrap your head around as a kid, because to you it's like, I think it was an accident, but now with the cultural aspect of what is sort of like believed in the area, that your forefathers or foreparents' sins are being sort of like transferred to you, that could mess up anybody in an absolutely terrible way. So in that way, I would say it was a privilege that I got to go to a boarding school, because I got to be exposed to therapists, occupational therapists, psychologists that were able, for instance, to say or to have conversations such as, yes, you're young and stuff like that, but you still have your whole life ahead of you, in a sense that we're going to rehabilitate you, not just physically, but even the way you think. We constantly had conversations whereby we would be asked, like, what do you want to become when you grow up? You'll be amazed at the answers you'd find. A guy with one arm, for instance, will say, I want to be a policeman. Like, okay, but you don't want to be the but meaning, like, their mind is still fully functional. They're looking into the future with a lot of optimism, so I think that's like sort of like my way of trying to address sort of like those 5 aspects of financial, social, psychological, environmental, and occupational. So I would say, yes, the unfortunate thing of experiencing an injury within South Africa, but it still led to an unbelievable opportunity of being exposed to an environment that I might have never been exposed to, and that has formed my way of thinking, my consciousness, and the way I interact with the world today. And to think that now, being in a campus whereby I form part of less than 5% minority, I still have the strength of mind to be able to say, I'm still going to do what I want to do. I'm not going to be that much trapped into, I'm being misreceived, I'm being, this and that. And I think that probably much, filters into how I've been able to sort of like get to where I've been able to go. And I think there's still more to come.
One thing that I think is particularly interesting in Africa is, and now forgive me for using genetic examples again, is people with albinism. That is a small genetic defect. They just have less pigment than other people. I've got to put it that simple, a bit more complex, but still, if I'm not mistaken, I didn't have time now to go and find the newspaper clip, but if I'm not mistaken, there was very recently a girl murdered because she was an albino, and in some communities there is still a belief that these people have some magic powers, and yeah, so she was murdered because she looks differently from other people. So yes, that is very sad. If we just think about gender, in some communities it is still not acceptable to be homosexual. We know of terrible attacks on people for not being what other people think they should be. So yes, there are many examples in our beautiful country where people are just not tolerated because they differ from what other people think they should be, or they are exploited. I was thinking now while you were speaking, Bongani, someone like Stephen Hawking, who was one of the most brilliant scientists of that we know of, he was disabled, but still, because he got technological support, he could make fantastic contributions to science. So I was wondering, had he been born in South Africa, would he have been able to contribute to science the way he has been contributing, just because he was born in another country? So, yeah, these are just some points to think about our specific context in South Africa being quite different from elsewhere in the world.
It says, more from a macro perspective, that about 5.1% of South African citizens are disabled. And if we don't give access to the infrastructure of South Africa to these 5.1%, that means there's 2.8 million people in South Africa that whose value is being wasted. We don't give them the opportunity to produce the value that they could add. Which forces that point, if Stephen Hawking was one of those 5.1%, and he didn't have value to access to this infrastructure, then we would be investing in the world. And, you know, what the understanding of black holes would be much less advanced if it wasn't for him, if we didn't have him. So it's just about, to me, I don't want to say it's a numbers game, but there's so much value that we lose if we don't give access to disabled people to be able to tap in and really add. I'm using the word value a lot, but that's what it's about for me. And I think the key to happiness is feeling like you're adding value to something. And if you aren't giving that opportunity, then I think it's a big loss for you, but it's also a really big loss for the country. And because we have much less facilities in the first world countries, we're losing a lot more value that people could add. I mean, I was in Germany, the public toilets, they have arms coming out if you're in a wheelchair that literally pick you up and put you on a toilet in a public restroom in the train station. And how far away from that in South Africa, I think we'll probably never get there. So which means that we're not getting that out of the people, getting out of the people that we should be